Alrighty. You all set?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in to this week's episode of Tampa Tuesday. Special guest, Matt Ashwood. Shout out to you for doing the show. Thank you so much. Real quick, as always, before we get into the show, we're going to talk about upcoming events. Just to put the bug in your ear, Gasparilla is coming up in 2 weeks, so get ready for all the festivities that brings. We're kind of at a lull right now in terms of events because we just had the big college football game. And we got Gasparilla coming up, so that means the distance classics, you got the parades, whole bunch of stuff coming up. But this weekend is more of a weekend of food truck rallies, and the two that I thought worth mentioning were the one at the Sail Pavilion. Always a big fan of that. That's going to be Friday from 6 to either 9 or 10. Sail Pavilion, downtown Tampa. So go to the convention center. You can actually park at the Sail Pavilion. However, little tip on free parking. There is a SunTrust Bank on Harbor Island. You can actually park in their parking lot after business hours. So once 6 p.m., after 6 p.m., you can go ahead and park there in their parking lot, and you won't have to worry about getting towed there. And then you just walk from there to the Sail Pavilion. It's a great little walk. Harbor Island's nice and safe little spot, so you don't have to worry about that. Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., there's a food truck rally in Ybor City. Can't miss it. It's going to be another one. I typically don't go to Ybor City at night for reasons that might be obvious to some of you and not to the rest of you, and that's fine. But this one's during the daytime, and it's Saturday. Be a great chance. If you don't go out to Ybor that often, I suggest you go. They have the Blind Tiger out there. There's a whole bunch of nice little stores and shops, and the food is fantastic out there. So go ahead and check that one out. Like I said, you're going there for food trucks, so I don't recommend, I recommend going for the restaurants another time. And keep an ear to the ground for really cool little unique events that are going to be going on during Gasparilla. If you hear of any, send me a direct message on Instagram or through Facebook. Just let me know what's going on because I want to publish as many of the best events that I can to let people know what's going on in Tampa. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoy this Tampa Tuesday, episode number 6 with Matt Ashwood. Thank you so much. See you soon. Well, hey everyone, welcome to episode 6 of Tampa Tuesday. I'm on a roll. I'm on a consistent roll doing this. Good. I'm so excited. Today, I have my special guest, Matt Ashwood, with me. We met maybe, 2-3 months ago now?
Yep.
Yeah. So he actually found me on Twitter, which is it's a dying platform, but at the same time, it seems like everybody that's on there is a loyal user, or everybody that is on there knows how to use it really well.
Yeah, that's why I've got a heart for Twitter because it's really the pure social network.
Right.
So you can make these introductions really simply on Twitter, but not a lot of people understand it. That's the challenge.
Yeah, and I didn't mind. It was weird. If you would have friend requested me and sent me the same message that you sent me on Twitter, I would have been like, "Who's this weird guy?" Yeah. And I probably would have just said, "I'll just keep you in my back pocket in case I need this relationship later." Right. But it was funny how because you reached out to me on Twitter, I was like, "Oh, this is so cool. We have some sort of overlapping interest." And
on Facebook that's weird. LinkedIn, it can be spammy, but Twitter, it's a normal place for it.
Exactly. So, and you guys probably still don't know exactly where we are, except for the cool little intro montage I did. We're at DI Coffee Bar. This is by far one of my favorite. This is probably my top 3 coffee spot in Tampa. I really love this spot. It's actually on Davis Island, so you have to drive over the bridge to get over here.
You have to drive Bayshore on the way. It's always a nice road to drive.
Bayshore is a great little
great little road. It has some of the prettiest homes, and you can actually see Derek Jeter's house that's on Davis Island from Bayshore.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't found that yet.
You really can't miss it. It's like the widest house. I think it's the biggest house on Davis Island.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so it's like literally if you're driving on Bayshore, look right, and you'll see it. It's cool. I'm in real estate, so like from the design perspective, from the back of the house, it's completely modern. It's like the entire design is modern, but from the front, it's entirely traditional.
Oh wow!
So I haven't seen pictures of the inside. I'm sure if you Google it, you can see it. So we're at DI Coffee Bar. Like I said, this is one of my favorite places. If you get anything, I recommend the Café con Leche. It's a supposedly Cuban drink. I'm actually Puerto Rican, and you're Colombian?
No,
I'm sorry.
Not even
Honduras?
No, I'm half Filipino,
Okay.
half English.
There's a comedian that was kind of like that.
Really?
Yeah, he was half English. I think he was half English, half Colombian. I'll find it out, and then I'll pause and do something where it's like does the ding and it shows his name.
Oh, you're talking about him?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
For the edit.
Yeah, so we'll put that in post-edit. Anyway, so, I don't know, I haven't officially introduced this guy. His name's Matt Ashwood. When I met him, it was because actually the same reason I met a lot of people that we've had on the show. It's because of Gary Vaynerchuk. He's if you don't know who he is, if you're not too into social media, if you're that person that's like, I'm sick of signing on all the time and seeing stuff, but then don't pay attention for the next 30 seconds. But if you are kind of into social media, if you've thought about, how are these people, you've heard people making money through Instagram, or, that Kim Kardashian gets paid however much to just promote someone's product on Instagram, that she's not the only one. There are a lot of other people doing that, and you're kind of curious, well, how do you get into that game? That's why I wanted to bring this guy on, because he's an absolute pro in that field. He understands. He's one, and in my experience, you're probably one of the best people that all in the social media game in Tampa. And that's you are absolutely 100% pot committed to making. I don't want to speak for you, but just from the outside perspective, you are absolutely 100% committed to making the social media game work for you.
Cool. Yeah.
And so I know a lot of people. They're curious about, well, how do you go from 0 to, Kim K status, because that's just the mindset. But, where's and kind of explain to people a little bit about what you do, and then, because I didn't explain that perfectly, but also, if you are the kind of person that wants to get into social media for the potential of monetizing it, where's a good place to start?
Okay. So, yes, I'm a social media specialist. Started out about 4 years ago working with different businesses, just helping them leverage social media really well. I saw that opportunity through a friend. He was running a gym, and I overheard he needed help with social media, so I volunteered, and then saw from that how to, an idea for a business of helping different companies with social media. So that's where it grew. Got really into different industries, into how social media plays in different industries, and how people are building communities, building audiences through social media, and kind of just found a love for it because I'm passionate about free enterprise, entrepreneurship, business ownership, and I saw being that I don't have the educational background or a lot of expertise in certain industries, I do understand social media, and I had a general understanding of marketing and business.
That can kind of play to a strength as well, because you kind of have, or in my experience, in real estate, I couldn't apply anything from my background to growing an audience on social media. That wasn't even, nothing was relevant.
Yeah.
It was so...
Yeah, so I meet business owners all the time. They have no idea how social media works, and it's just a great way for me to support these business owners.
Right.
And help them do business better.
Owners here, too.
Yeah.
So, and that's the cool thing. That's one thing I like. What I really like about what you do is that I know a lot of people that are involved in the social media game. I'll call it a game for lack of a better term, but I know a lot of people that are involved in that, but they're servicing clients in Utah, or they're servicing people in New Jersey, you know, a lot of the work that I see you doing is for people here.
Yeah, it's a lot more. I like that personal connection, like
Right.
when it's like distant stuff. Like I don't know, it's just I'd rather be hands on with the companies I'm working.
Well,
with. So
it's kind of easier to
like
show
it.
that you're committed too. It's like that you have a vested interest for them to succeed because you actually have a chance of running into them on the street too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
My dad's a chiropractor, and he had somebody walk into his office one day and say, "Well, I'll run Facebook ads for you for $1,500 a month." And that was, I mean, the only reason he listened to him was because he was there in the office.
Yeah.
He didn't end up going with the service because there was the guy lacked tact.
Yeah.
Or tact. He even though he might have been the most qualified person, he's just didn't really know how to communicate. And we were kind of talking because you seem like and just for picking this up, you seem more like an introverted type person, right?
Yeah.
Now, 4 or 5 years ago, we wouldn't have been having this conversation because I'm the same way. Like, I find it very hard to, like, if I'm sitting down at that table over there and somebody's sitting across from me, one of the hardest things for me to do is, you know, start a conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so now I have a radio show on 1250 WHNZ. There you go. It's a segment on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly.
Okay.
And I have to, you know, each week I talk about what's trending, different internet trends, social media marketing stuff.
Okay.
And all I have is really, sometimes it's I feel that, you know, it's a 20-minute segment. Usually it's only 5 minutes.
Right.
But having to come up with stuff to say each week is a challenge for me. Like yeah, there's a lot going on, but like having to come up with, you know, talks and stuff, that's not my natural.
Isn't it kind of crazy? Because I found that being introverted, I'm definitely analytical. I can definitely kind of analyze things a little bit more, but it becomes so much easier for me to develop content. You know, back last year I was blogging really heavy, because I thought my strategy was purely SEO. That was my entire strategy. Today, that, you know, you have to push good content through paid advertising. That's what works well for me. But it was being introverted, I was able to crank out 1,200 words every other day, nothing. And so I think the one of the advantages that we have is kind of, you know, the phone. It almost gives you the appearance like you're hiding, like, so it makes it comfortable for someone like you and me to be able to do that. Like, have you found that to play to your strength? Like,
yeah. So one thing, like going back to Gary Vaynerchuk, one thing I love, kind of watching some of his videos, is like how he's like always on the phone.
Yeah.
And like they're talking, and like the voiceover is him talking about how he's hustling and grinding all the time. And it's just funny how like, well, that's what he is doing on his phone. Yeah. Like that's him grinding and stuff. So it's like, you know, I've been transitioning last year, doing most of my work from my phone. Just because of these different apps and stuff you can do from your phone now, it's replacing the need for a desktop laptop.
Absolutely.
Some type of
and to an extent you have to. I mean, it's only now that it's very difficult for me because I do a lot of video editing. So I need a laptop. I need until and it's probably going to be GoPro or DJI that comes up with a really good video editing app that just connects to the camera, downloads the file, but you also need the space on the phone to be able to work with the file. But the processor in my phone is better than the processor in my PC.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking for, you're not iPhone now.
Not yet.
Yeah. So the iPhone users, I use a video app called Videorama, which is pretty cool, very simple, inexpensive, and you can kind of test it out before you buy it. And it's pretty cool. Videorama.
Videorama. We'll link it up. Ding. You're getting good at that. Nice. Now, I'm actually teaching a class on Friday to veterans about video editing.
Oh, cool.
You said Videorama. Do you have any other suggestions?
Video editing. There's one. Well, I haven't tested any others right now. That's the only video one.
Right. I've tested Magisto.
Okay.
Very impressed with it.
Okay.
They have a free demo, of course, that has the watermark, but it's like $10 a month, and it's if you have a quality video that you're using, it looks like somebody ran it through Adobe After Effects and Premiere. And it comes out, it makes it that you can, I've used it 3 or 4 times, and I'll link something up here so that people can see it. Now, in terms of quality in content, how good does your content need? What would you define something as good content?
Better than your competition. So, like, when I talk about Instagram, you want to stand out on Instagram, right? The way to do that is when you're thinking about the hashtags you're using, you want to be able to check that gallery of hashtags. So say it's hashtag coffee shop,
right?
And like, that's gonna be a tough one to compete in. But if you're one of those photos that like stands out as people scrolling through,
right,
that's how you're gonna win on Instagram,
right?
It's because they're glancing over those thumbnails,
right? And
then you want to be that really awesome photo that they want to click through and see what's going on.
Nice, that makes sense. So for me, my thing would be, real estate's a tough one because people don't need real estate until they need it.
But when I say competition, it's not necessarily in your industry. So like this video is going on Facebook.
Right.
Your competition is everything else on Facebook.
Oh.
So you want to figure out how I can make my content better than the other things people are seeing on Facebook.
So how would I deploy something like this on Instagram?
So for Instagram, well, they limit the time.
Yeah, you have 60 seconds.
So you have the teaser. So yeah, it's just a matter of, well, video's a little different than photo. Right. But if you had a photo ad promoting this post, it's really ideally have a photographer standing over in the corner taking a really
I don't have my own D-Rock yet,
but something like that, just something that really pulls people in.
Right.
And on Instagram, it is this cool photography.
Right.
So if you had a shot maybe behind the camera with us, and maybe you could take one right before we're done. But
well, actually, I think I took a snap, but I didn't save it. But I can save it in my memories and then pull it from there.
Yeah.
So cool. Cool. Now let's talk about some of the newer ones because we have flagships like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I like to look at Twitter more like a tool because it's easy. I can still find people that are relevant on other platforms on Twitter.
Yeah.
And so that's what's cool about that. But the new ones that are new, Snapchat, Musical.ly. How do you pronounce that anyway?
Musically.
Musically?
That's what I thought. Because that's how you spell musically.
Right, that's what I thought too.
But, it's like musical dot.
Lee. Yeah. So
maybe that's how you pronounce it.
Right.
Musical dot. Lee.
Okay, so those platforms are a little bit different because you don't have the organic reach necessarily. Right. I don't know about Musically. I've tried. I've done one post on Musically.
You're too old for Musically.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah. So, they're great social networks in that what they're doing is they're leveraging what's available to your phone to be more creative with your phone. So it's allowing people to have more fun on Snapchat with doodling, with Bitmojis, and filters, and all kinds of things. It's just what I'm excited about with those apps is it's just pushing what you can do with your phone in the social networking space. Nice. Like even the way their user interfaces are different from other social networks. So
that was
trying to do things new.
It took me a while with Snapchat to realize it's left right.
Right.
Right. And I was married before Tinder got popular.
So you weren't used to left right.
I wasn't used to left right.
That's funny. But it's a very different. So once you get used to it, it's simple to use. Like it's simple to navigate, and it's a lot simpler than trying to run a Facebook with all these tabs, all these tabs and different things, parts and components of Facebook.
So now I would ask, because you don't have that organic reach with a platform like Snapchat, how do you grow an audience there?
So it's leveraging your other audiences, where other people are, sending people to your Snapchat. Another great way is, maybe we could do this, is where you guest feature on someone else's Snapchat. Talk about what you do.
That would work.
To each other's audiences.
That makes sense.
Build off each other's audiences. So
simple stuff. That's super simple.
I'll snap a day on yours. You snap a day on mine. Just showing what you do.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, we'll do that. So, all right, that's enough business stuff. You have a very interesting backstory.
Okay.
I don't know it entirely.
Yeah.
But I do know that you're half English, half Filipino.
Right.
We covered that before. How did you end up in Tampa, of all places?
So, back in England, our family was like, we're tired of England. We need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense how I'm half Filipino, half British. My mom met my dad in Hong Kong. My mom was there from the Philippines going to nursing school, and he was there working with the British government because it was British control at that time. And then they came back to England, had me, and yeah, so they were getting tired of England. My mom's family was already here in the U.S., so we applied for a visa to move
Right.
here, and it took 7 years before we could move here, but because they put us in the Filipino pile as opposed to the British pile, and it's like, and then once they figured out we were British, they were like, oh yeah, you're blind. So it took 7 years before we could get here, and then that was just before high school for me.
Right.
But we came to Tampa specifically because we had family on the West Coast and then this side, but our aunt, the person who had the biggest home, was here in Tampa. So like she had more space, so that's why we came to Tampa. It's just because there's more space.
Opportunity.
And you wouldn't want to live in Florida. It's like
I mean, people move from all over the world to Florida.
A lot of my old English friends are super jealous.
Now I'm from Jersey, so everybody from Jersey just moves to Florida. It's like the natural progression of events. My mom's Puerto Rican, my dad's black. Like my dad's like that New York, Northern Jersey black guy. Like, stereotype all the way. But he talks like Denzel Washington.
Okay, I was gonna ask you. Is he like there's that American Gangster movie?
Yes,
just like
that was the city my dad grew up in.
Oh wow!
Like my dad was like, to give you perspective, my dad was 18 when MLK got shot. So like it was funny, and this is gonna sound a little like I don't mean to get all morbid, but I went through this phase in high school. Like I was all ghetto fabulous. Like even though I was from a wealthy white neighborhood in Jersey, only because my parents moved there. You know, my dad, he's got an incredible story, and I did a Tampa Tuesday with him already. Which is weird. Yeah, that was the one in Philly. So it was weird, but it worked. Anyway, so his mom, he was raised by a single mom, had an older brother, and just worked. And he's been an entrepreneur since before I was born. And that's why, for me, I started with the corporate world, and then I've always had ideas, and I've never had an outlet. And so getting into business for myself was the perfect thing that I never knew I needed to do. Yeah. Because I saw my dad, he'd have ideas on how to grow his business, and he just did it. And that doesn't really work well in a corporate setting because you have to go through so many layers and people and paperwork and red tape, and there are a lot of people, especially in a corporate environment, that don't want you to succeed. And you can, as a business owner, you can kind of circumvent those people, but in a company, it's much harder. And so, and going back to the whole American Gangster thing, one day I come home. I'm like 14 or 15, and I'm starting to dress really, really hood. And my dad says to me, he's like, "So you think you're gangster or something?" I'm like, "Dad, you don't know what gangster is." He's like, he tells me, "Son, gangster is shooting someone in broad daylight in the middle of the street and walking away like nothing happened." And then 2 years later, I see that scene in American Gangster, and I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Because my dad was if that really happened, my dad was probably there.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. Yeah, so I went through that stage too. Yeah. So when I came, my way of blending into American culture was through basketball. So I played high school basketball a couple of years, and
I'm terrible
hang out with the the guys that wear the baggy shorts, tall tees. Yep. So that was me for a time.
Yep. So you've been there.
Yeah.
So ladies, don't give up hope just because of how things used to be. Oh man, you should see my yearbook photo. Maybe I'll throw that one up here. You're too good at that. All right, so let's see. Let's see. We're at 21 minutes. I'm very happy with what we got. What would you say to somebody that they think they can make a run in the social media game?
So a lot of people are trying to be, Insta famous, trying to grow their influence. For one, reach out to me because I know, my clients might like to collaborate.
Right.
But also just be consistent and be creative in what you're good at, and just be consistent with it. A lot of people, they talk about, talk about how it took years to develop that kind of community around their social media, and there's no such thing as an overnight success. It's because all this time they were slowly building their following through social avenues. You look at, we go back to Gary Vaynerchuk. That's, he talks about how he didn't even start YouTube until he was 30.
Yep.
But understood that industry leading up to that point.
Right.
And was able to capitalize on it.
And that's a good example of leveraging your strengths. Like, it's so important. I say two things. I say, know what you're good at, and whatever you do, get good at it. So if you're gonna focus on Instagram, yes, do the other things that you need to do, but get good at it. Like you said, be better than your competition. And it's because it's really, if you're good, the tactics kind of they don't play as big of an important role,
Right.
Because if you're good, your audience is going to grow. You might find that you're making one little mistake, you tweak it, and then all of a sudden, like me last week, I got 100 new followers. Nice. I was sitting at 500, and then all of a sudden I got to 650. So, and that was just one little tweak of looking at, for me, it was just looking at businesses in areas that I wanted to do business and finding people that were active and following them. And then you get a percentage of those, and, but at the end of the day, now I have essentially a reference point for my ideal customer, so, and that was just one little thing, and then, suddenly I get 20% of a bigger following on Instagram. How big's your Instagram?
Not a lot. 700, my personal 700, yeah.
That's
I'm usually on other people's
right.
Instagram. That's the challenge, is because I'm on these other social networks, I
right.
rarely take time to build my own. So,
right. Well, you're really good at Snapchat, though. I will say that.
Thanks. Yeah,
so,
I'm trying to develop that skill.
Where do people follow you? Actually, let's just do this.
_Ashwood.
Matt_Ashwood. So what platforms?
Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Those are where I'm hanging out right now.
Okay. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Yeah. So we're gonna ding, and that's gonna be Matt_Ashwood. Get in touch with him if you have any questions regarding social media, how to grow an audience, or if you're in business and you want to grow your personal brand or your business's brand. Go ahead and reach out to him. He's been a great resource, always answers my questions, and he's incredibly helpful. So until next week, we're having a guy. His name is Josh. I can't remember his last name, so I'm just going to call him Josh.
All right.
Yeah, Josh is on next week. Josh is starting a clothing line.
Oh, cool.
So I'll put you two in touch too. Man. Could be a time for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
And so stay tuned. And as my good friend Willie Lawson says, learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you.